Yo, dog, that Nintendo Switch 2 Direct was freaking awesome. I'm Hey, not only did you just see the debut of my voice acting career with that intro there, which I thought was pretty funny, we also witnessed quite the day yesterday with the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. That was something, wasn't it? It was a crazy day of news, especially after the fact. I think I speak for everybody when I say that the Switch 2 Direct itself was pretty amazing. Everybody was happy with the software, everybody was happy with the hardware, more or less. It was a pretty dang good showing. But there was a little twist at the end, wasn't there? Afterwards, there was a little twisty-roo. Okay, so what is a sucker punch? I taught martial arts for many years. I've been punched in the face many times. A sucker punch is essentially a Marty McFly to a Biff Tannen thing, right? It's the look over there, and then they look, and then you sock them. It's a cheap shot. It's a slimy way of getting the upper hand, and that's pretty much what we got yesterday from Nintendo. The backlash after the Direct ended has been pretty nuts when it comes to the prices, okay? I was pretty overwhelmed yesterday. There was a lot of news going around, great stuff, interesting stuff, rumors, concerning stuff, and I kind of just had to step away. I wanted to sleep on it. I could have made a lot of videos yesterday. I was sort of tempted to put a bunch of coverage videos up, but I'm like, it's not really what my channel does at this point, and there's so many other channels out there that are better than mine that you can find all the news you need to find on them. So instead, I decided to just sleep on it. And this morning, I can say I feel a lot better about some things I was worried about. But I also feel a little more concerned today than I did yesterday about some other things. So I kind of I feel like I'm ready enough to start talking about this. Okay, so let's start with the system price. Honestly, it's pretty fine. Like, the system price is not really a concern, and I don't think I've seen very many people like up in arms about the console itself's price. $450 is just fine. It's just fine. It's actually kind of what everybody expected. A lot of people were saying $400. Some people were slipping into the $450, and some people were like maybe even $5, but that's the most they can go. They went $450 right in the middle. It makes perfect sense. The Switch 1 OLED is $350. There's been 8 years of technological development, 8 years of inflation. Yeah, it's packed with tons of new tech. It's in the expected price range. So I have no problems with it. And overall online, I see most people not having a problem with the system itself and the price of $450 US. Where the problem happens is with the software. Oh my goodness. Games will vary. That's a good thing. Games will still vary in price, depending on the game. But we're seeing now $70 games. We're really seeing $60 games, $70 games, $80 games, and even
$90 games.
$90! Now, I will say, the $90 price point, I haven't seen anything solid like confirming that that's a standard of some kind. I've seen one or two reports saying that maybe in some regions like it creeps up, but I don't really know. But nevertheless, $80 is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. However, think of it this way. I don't think it's quite as crazy as people are making it out to be. It is a lot. It is frustrating. But think of it this way. Everything just bumped $10 for this generation. That's really it. Everything bumped $10. Last gen games were $60. Premiums were $70. Now games are $70 and premiums are $80. It's just shifted $10. However, on paper that doesn't sound so bad. But here's the problem with that. I found out this morning, this is a piece of information I did not have yesterday that's coming out of the woodwork this morning. That introduction tour, I can't remember what it's called, the tour introduction guide game that was supposed to be like a pack-in. Everybody thought it was a pack-in game. And it ended up being a priced digital game on day one. It's $6. I don't think that's the official US price for it, but somebody found like the Japanese price for it or something and converted it right over, and it ended up being like $5 or $6. That's just weird. That is just greed, okay? Like, let's just say it like it is. That's like Nintendo being a restaurant that we're eating at, and we're like, hey, can I use the bathroom? And they're like, sure, it costs $0.25. Like, what are you going to do with $0.25, man? Like, you're not paying the bills with all the quarters you get from people using the restroom. Like, you're just doing it to do it. Just because you can and because you feel like it. Like, there's no excuse for that. The other thing, okay, so even if you can swallow the $70 standard for like Donkey Kong Bonanza, and like, oh man, Mario Kart World is going to be the biggest, most supported game through the whole system's lifespan, $80. It's like, okay. Even if you can swallow that, I just found out this morning as well. I've got it here just to make sure I don't get it wrong. The Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands Switch 2 edition is $80. Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition, $80. This is assuming, of course, you're not upgrading with the upgrade package. $80. What was the other one? Mario Party Jamboree. If you're paying from scratch for the Switch 2 edition, $80. That's crazy. That's actually weird. 70 I could maybe understand. It's like a $10 DLC, right? $80 for those? Nah, dude. No. Like, honestly, I can absorb Mario Kart World. I can understand it. I really can. $80 for that? It's like, ouch, but okay. I get it. But Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition, $80? Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. That's... So there are many factors for this that a lot of people... This is funny. This is the most political you'll ever hear me get on my channel. The economy has changed, obviously. There's been natural inflation. Bidenomics screwed everything up. A lot of people are pinning all of this on the Trump tariffs, which I think is really funny. That is not to be blamed. Nintendo was bold enough to stick these prices this high in every region, everywhere. And the funny thing about it now is Nintendo usually is not first to make this jump. That's usually Sony's job. They're all standing on the edge of this cliff, and Nintendo just jumped. And Sony's like, bro, Microsoft, did you see that? He just jumped. Oh my gosh. Like, well, I guess we have to jump now, right? Yeah, we better do it too. We're going to look like chickens. And they jump off the cliff too. That's what's going to happen. This GTA 6, everybody's calling out the GTA 6 rumor being $100. Everybody's like, shut up, that's never going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's totally going to happen. Because this sets a new precedence. It really does. And the thing of it is, this is no longer the Iwata era of Nintendo. If you guys remember when the Wii U started and the 3DS started to fail, they did the ambassador program, they cut the prices back, they had the whole reset. But Iwata on the back end took a major pay cut himself so that the end user would not take the hit and his employees would not take the hit. We don't live in that era of Nintendo anymore. Like, that's gone. And the funny thing about it, the ironic thing about it is if Nintendo were to ever be in a position to do that, it's right now. It's after Switch, the best-selling console of all time, or at least it will have passed the PS2 up by the end of its complete lifespan. This is the time they should do that. It's like, guys, for the first 2 years, we're going to barely break even. We're going to make a little profit. But after that, it's going to be fantastic once technology catches up, right? The economy recovers a little bit more. They could have done that, and they didn't, which is kind of crazy to me. The other part of this, I personally believe, I don't know if a lot of people are talking about it quite this way, but I personally believe Nintendo is proactively attacking physical media. And that sounds a little malicious when I say it that way. I guess maybe a better way to say it is I think Nintendo is proactively moving away from physical media, and this is one way to do it. We've heard about the game codes already on physical carts that will pretty much just be like, yeah, here's your code to download the game. Just download it, dude. It's easier. I think that's literally what they're doing. I honestly think the Nintendo Switch 2 generation is going to be the last generation of physical media. I really do. PS5's moving away from it as well. I think we're seeing the beginning of the end. Hot take. I don't really care. I really don't care. I understand completely the need for or not the need, but the appeal of having all your collection on your shelf. I totally get that. I'm not in a position where I can do that anymore. I haven't been for a long time. I got a house full of kids. Like, that's not a thing that I care about anymore. And I also understand the real concern is, of course, you don't fully own the game if you don't have internet access, if they can just delete the game from their end. Like, I understand that argument, and it's a very valid argument. But to be honest, I got bigger fish to fry in my life than video games. I mean, it's my passion. I love it. But at the end of the day, it's just video games, and digital stuff's way more convenient, man. It just is. Physical media is making less and less sense to me as the years go on. That's just me. I know I'm in the minority, but I just had to throw that out there. It feels good. Okay, so let's price this thing out. A lot of people are going online and they're like, oh, look how much this is going to cost. And they're throwing every single product Nintendo had on its page into their cart and being like, look, it's $1,500 to invest in the Switch 2. And it's like, dude, stop. No, it's not. You're overblowing the situation. I feel like I'm even going to spend a little bit more than most people on this stuff. So let's do a more conservative breakdown of exactly what you're paying for. Okay, and I've got the product page up on my other screen. You've got the Mario Kart World Switch 2 bundle, which if you don't get that, you're crazy, because that's basically making Mario Kart World $50 instead of $80. It's a steal of a deal, so you have to get that bundle if you're an early adopter. Okay, so that's going to be $500 for that. All right. Next, I'm going to get the camera, the Switch 2 camera. It's $50. I think there's more tech inside that camera than we're giving it credit for, by the way. Some people sneered at the $50 camera. Did you pick up on the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that people were using one camera to capture 4 faces? Not to mention auto green screening people. I don't know how it's going to work. With Mario Party Jamboree, they were showing one camera, 4 people on the couch. Somehow it knows how to pick out person 1, 2, 3, 4, assign them to the right player. I'm guessing it knows that portrait of your grandma on the back wall isn't a real person, and it knows to get rid of that. I don't know. It seems like it's pretty sophisticated tech. So, most good webcams cost $40 to $50 anyway. So, I'm okay with it. But I understand that's not for everybody. But I'm going to throw it on my list. We got the bundle for $500. We got the camera for $50. I'm also going to get a micro SD Express because we need a new SD card for storage. I'm definitely not getting a Nintendo branded one because they're going to gouge you for it. So let's get a third-party one off of Amazon, maybe $40 I'll put for now, just depending on the capacity I end up getting. I'm going to get the Mario Party Jamboree update, which is $20 because I already own the game. And then I actually am going to get an extra set of Joy-Con 2s for my kids, because we're all going to play Jamboree together and stuff. I want them to have the full experience. I want to have, the full-blown experience. Those are $90. Again, only $10 more than the Joy-Cons now. I think that's totally fair, given the new tech that's in them. Okay, so I'm going to add that 90 on. I've got my calculator here. That's $700. Now, that is a lot of money. I understand that. It is a lot of money. But for what you're getting, $700 is not bad for the console, Mario Kart Tour, which is $80, another set of expensive Joy-Con controllers, an SD card that's probably 512 gigs to 1 terabyte worth of space, and what else? Jamboree update. That's quite a bit. And I think so that's $700 for me. Maybe even a more conservative, realistic outlook for most people would be the $500 bundle and a Pro controller. How much are the Pro controllers? $80. I mean, $580? All right, that's a lot, but that's not terrible. So now I'm going to play devil's advocate. The price does 2 things, essentially. Number 1, it invites direct competition with PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 6, because I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that before the Switch 2 gen ends, we will have PS6, assuming the Switch 2 generation lasts at least as long as the 1 did. So this is an open invitation to have consumers compare directly the PS5/6 to a Switch 2. That could potentially be a problem. But I think more importantly, the second thing that this price level, this sort of price economy that we're looking at today does is it really sets the bar high sky high for Nintendo's quality. We can't be having these Mario sports games anymore that we get and we're just kind of like, eh. It was $60, it's really worth 40. Like, there's really not a lot of content here. The Mario Strikers sequel, right, that kind of stuff, we can't have that anymore. Because if I'm paying $80 for a game, fair enough, it better be the best freaking $80 I've ever spent in my life. And I don't know if Nintendo's up to that task. Can we get a Pokemon game that's $80 that's absolutely broken? Pokemon games have been trash for decades now. Another hot take, I know, but not really. Pokemon games suck, man. And if they're going to start charging $80 for it, they better pick up the pace with quality. So those are two like real concerns I have. There's definitely some like icky, greedy kind of vibes to this, but let's all stop and think about the practicality of it. There is a lot more sense to it than we give credit for too. So it is what it is. Is this going to have an impact on Nintendo? Yeah, I think it really will. I think we're seeing video games entering the age that they're no longer common man pleasures. I think they're unaffordable luxuries now. When you see that Lambo driving down the street, you can be like, dang, that's a sexy car, but you know they went into debt for that. When you see that multi-million-dollar mansion, it's like, dang, that's so cool. They are in debt. They do not spend their money wisely. 99% of these people are in debt for this. Are we getting to the point where video games are just that? They're an unaffordable luxury to the common person? Maybe. I don't know. This will be a very interesting new era of gaming. Lots to be excited about. Lots of questions, too. But the polarization will be fun to watch. It's already been fun to watch online. So my question for you guys in Departure is the Ambassador Program. When it comes back for Switch 2 and they're like, oh crap, no one's buying this because our games are so expensive, we need to do an Ambassador Program. What games are on your list? What games are you going to ask Nintendo to give you for free when they have to backtrack and do a price cut?